Sometimes we go through times where we feel totally lost. We wish we could receive some guidance from God, from the Spirit of life, or whatever else you want to call this great power that exists throughout the entire universe. This power that we can sense on a soul level would guide us towards salvation, or at least hint us at how to go about it in this very moment, because ultimately it's not in some future state. It happens right here, right now, inside of ourselves. We don't want to wait until it's too late. We don't have to wait until it's tomorrow before we find enlightenment and peace and power. We want to find it right here, right now. So in today's inspirational video, I wanted to go over a quote by Emmet Fox, like we always do, because they're very fascinating. So I got one open on my screen that I wanted to share with you today, and then we're going to go over it. So he said the following: "Realizing God as truth will save you hours of work and research in any field. You will be led to the right book or the right place or the right person without loss of time, or the necessary information will come to you in some other way." Very, very powerful. Because again, we're talking about the realizing God as truth will save you hours of work in research in any field. Realizing what the God really is the great question, the great mystery. Have you ever asked yourself that question? Surely, if you're a student of his work, you have. And you might have some insights based on your own meditations and contemplations. But still, there can be times in our lives where we don't feel that connection, that unity with God. We'll feel perhaps kind of out of balance within ourselves. And ultimately, what we're going to find is that this lack of balance in ourselves is due to us not focusing our consciousness on what's most important in this present moment, which is to be aware in this very moment. You want to be aware of where you are mentally. You want to be aware of what you're focused on spiritually and emotionally. Even though we don't always say that I'm focused on something emotionally, the energetic emotions we feel, they're an energy, they're like a vibration, they're an energetic force inside of the body that we feel usually in the stomach area. Whereas thought and imagination happens over here. You don't imagine from your stomach area. This is all again symbolic, but it does give us some hints here on how to find God. Because God, being the spirit behind all of creation, being the one behind the mask of the ego, means that you will find connection with God through your own heart, through the deepest seed of emotions that you can ever experience. It is the deepest part, far beyond all the superficial worries and issues and struggles you have mentally, where you can find the connection and unity on a scale that is so profound and it's almost hard to put into words. So what Emmet Fox talked about is realizing that the power that will lead you towards anything you want comes from within. It is seated in your emotional self. If the emotional self can truly feel it is at one with the entire universe, then the entire universe responds and guides your physical self towards anything you desire. That is the beauty. But we have to get out of our heads and into our hearts, into our soul, in order to actually embrace that power, to make use of it. And you can do this if you stop the chatter of the mind, even for a little bit. If you can just calm down your mind, you're going to find a place of peace and power, joy, strength and bliss. It's absolutely phenomenal what will happen to your whole outlook on life. There was a time years ago when in meditation I felt such a profound shift inside my consciousness. It was almost like I could sense whatever happened to me physically here is not touching the real me. What do we mean by this real me? Again, it's hinting at this spiritual, eternal part of our existence. It's hinting at the fact that this physical side of us is not the only thing there is. And again, the fallacy, the issue for most people is that they truly believe that the physical side is all there is, and they dismiss the spiritual, non-physical sides of life. As long as we deny the non-physical, we'll never be able to do what Emmet Fox suggested, because God is a non-physical concept. It is not a person that's just walking around and then you ask for a blessing and he will give it to you. We're talking about a non-physical unity and power that exists behind the ego. So in that meditation years ago, I could sense it. I literally felt it. It was the most profound and beautiful experience of my life. No matter what happens to me physically, it will never touch the real me. That's what I felt. And even though that might sound like nothing special to you perhaps, it is actually very special once you experience it for yourself, because you realize whatever I'm facing right now, all these struggles that I'm having, all these worries, they don't even matter. That's what you would sense. You realize this is, because it's all temporary, what am I worried about? This is just like a beautiful play. This is a journey. As we would said in the previous video, this is a play based on Alan Watts' material. That is exactly what I felt if I look back on it. I knew that if I were to drop then dead right in that moment, I would instantly be okay. Like I would know that I would wake up in a different dimension. Like I literally could sense it. There was not even any doubt in my mind. And then I laid down and I felt this bliss pour through my entire being. I felt one with God, and the real God, not the erroneous one we have sadly bought into, where we're thinking of something outside of ourselves. I felt it was inside of myself instead, and I knew I wasn't connected to something ancient that has been here for a long time, much longer than any of us has been here physically. Much longer than centuries, much longer than tens of thousands of years, basically from the start of the universe itself. And again, if we realize God is truth, well then we'll save hours of work and research in any field, as Emmet Fox said. You will be led to the right book or the right place or the right person without loss of time. This is very important to understand, because many times we do struggle with this. We do worry about not having the right person or people in our lives to succeed. We do worry that we don't have what we need in order to progress. But yet everything you need exists within you. You first become in harmony with it inwardly, and then you can attract it outwardly towards you. You yourself are the magnet towards manifesting what you want. Your consciousness, the full thing, not just the mental part, but the emotional part. This whole aspect, if that operates in harmony with the dream, it attracts everything you need. So this brings us to a very important point. If the two become one, anything becomes possible. If a thought, imagination, and emotion and feeling become one, and that's when you will have the power to manifest whatsoever you desire. So take that concept of God and really live it, embody it. No longer think of a God outside of yourself, but take the concept as you think of it of God, mentally and emotionally, and make them one. I know this asks of you to think about what I'm saying, because I can't do it for you. You'll have to experience it somehow for yourself, these profound spiritual awakenings that you go through more and more as you truly dedicate yourself to the truth, as you truly let go of the physical limitations of your existence, because they exist due to how we're raised and how society operates. It's a very physical game that we're playing here as a society as a whole. But that is not where our real power lies. We think that is where power lies. We would say money gives us power. If you have a lot of money, you can do a lot of things with it in this world, that's true. But ultimately, the real power comes from the soul. This you must never forget, because once you lose track of that, then circumstances are going to take you over. Everything physically in your world is going to dictate whether you're going to succeed or not, and then you have lost track of letting God, the actual essence of who you are, guide you through the darkness into the light. That's where we are right now. We're in the darkness. If I were to turn off my light right now, you would see complete darkness. Yeah, the light of my monitors reflects on my face. But this is a world of darkness because the darkness is made due to ignorance. As long as we're ignorant of our unity, and as long as we don't experience it in this very moment, because that's the only time we have, we'll forever be lost. Now, that doesn't mean you'll be lost forever, of course, but what I mean is, as long as you buy into that, you'll be lost. Until you finally feel this calling from the soul to wake up, to come back home. Come back, wake up. Don't cast us off forever. Awake, O sleeper. Yes, we're all in a profound sleep. We're sleeping, we're dreaming. We're making our limitations real. We're not even asking God, the deeper self of who we are, to guide us out of this mess. But as long as we take the time to analyze this concept in our own ways, you don't need me to tell you what God is. You don't need anyone to tell you. You just have to contemplate this for yourself, because it is in self-contemplation that you will start to realize more and more of your true self. The true self has nothing to do with me or any other teacher out there. The true self has everything to do with you and knowing who you are, who you really are. Do you know who you really are? Are you saying, I'm Bob, I'm Peter, I'm Ranil, I'm this or that? We're just calling ourselves by names which are made up of letters, and that's not who we are. If you say, this is me, no, this is your body. This is your hand. I have a hand. If I were to ask you and point at this thing at your body, and I say, what is that? You say, what? It's my hand. You see, you say, it's my hand. It's something I have. It's not something I are. I am. This body is something you use to move through time, space, dimension. God is both in it and out of it. The creative power of life is both visible and invisible. The visible one is very easy to perceive, but that's where we say, this person is lucky, this person is gifted. Look at how creative they are. They're expressing God with and through them in the creations that they make. That's one side. But now ask yourself, what about the invisible, non-physical side? Do you understand that connection you have with God? Do you know you are God? And we're not talking about God in the sense that, I'm so much better and now I'm so powerful, I'm greater than everybody around me. Not this ego, maniacal, weird stuff that some people are into. We're talking about understanding the actual creative power that exists within us, that is exactly the same as it exists throughout the whole universe. We're talking about understanding the non-physical part of our lives. Because once you do that, then you understand how to awaken yourself. And the only time you're ever going to find this power is in the present moment. There's no other time. This is the only time you have. You're going to have to find it right here, right now, through meditation, contemplation, analyzation of yourself, by questioning yourself. How am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? Can I sense the unity? If not, why am I feeling so much chaos and madness in my soul? What am I doing with my life? Why am I wasting my time? Why am I being so insane? Insane in the sense that I'm allowing all the petty stuff of this world to control my mind. This is not bringing me closer to God, and I want to become close with God. I want my unity back. I want to feel what I really was before I was in this world. The more you take this serious, the more life is going to work out for you. It is so important and so profound and so difficult to put into words, but yet here I'm trying to do it and I still can't really do it. Yes, I can talk about achieving goals physically speaking, but I know that's just one tiny fraction of life, and it's not even the most important part, even though we make it the most important part most of the time. We think getting things is the most amazing activity in our lifetime, but it's not. It's the most meaningless thing. How much money you want? Millions? Well, you can get them, and then one day, maybe tomorrow, you're gonna drop. You're gonna croak, and then what? You're gonna let go of all that cash. So what was the point of having it? Well, of course, the point is to enjoy your life, isn't it? The best way to enjoy your life is to first find unity with the deepest parts of your own soul, because in the deepest parts of your own soul lies your connection with what all spiritual texts described as God. And that's all I have to say for this video, and that's exactly how you understand Emmet Fox's quote that we shared earlier in this video as well. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing to receive inspirational videos on a regular basis. And with that being said, dear viewer, never forget that we are the dreamers.